Probably the most asked question that I get is how many horsepower do the built motors run and whatnot, and I never really can answer them because that's just getting on my nerves. Going on, boys and girls, JD at Gy6 Custom Buggies. So, most commonly asked question that I get is how many horsepower are these motors producing? And my answer has been, I don't want to lie, I don't know. I've never had one on a dyno. Well, yesterday we had the opportunity, I had the time, so I talked to my friend Matt at Sarmiento Motorsports, and we loaded up the buggy and took it down there. And if I put her in there, she's gonna whine. Yeah, my life used. What's going on, boys and girls? JD at Gy6 Custom Buggies. Most commonly asked question I get whenever I'm building and shipping out motors, a lot of people ask me, how many horsepower? And response is, I don't want to lie, I don't know. I don't know because I don't have a dyno. I've never taken or had the opportunity to use a dyno on the motor. So yesterday we took a field trip, and I called my friend over the weekend. I called my friend Matt at Sarmiento Motorsports and asked him what his schedule was like, and he had a free day yesterday, so we loaded up the buggy and went down there. So just to set this up, this motor that is in the buggy, just kind of set up the parameters of this experiment. The motor that's in the buggy literally sat on the floor over there in the corner next to my air compressor for 2 years. This was my 2020-2021 motor. Ran great both seasons. 2020 won a championship. 21, I don't remember. I think I had a bunch of breakdowns. I think, I didn't win the championship that year. It might have come in second, but it wasn't due to the motor. The motor was fine. In 22, I pulled it out, I put it on the floor, built a fresh motor, and ran that motor for 2 years until it actually, this past season, spit out the output shaft out of the case. So, ended up taking the clutching out of there because it was a little fresher, putting it in the motor that was sitting in the corner, and slapped it in for the last race of the season, in which case it won both motos. So I know the motor was strong. This thing's been sitting in the trailer since, I think the last race was in July. So, hadn't been started. We pushed it out of the trailer. I put a little pump gas in it just to get it started, make sure I wasn't wasting my time taking the trip, and she fired right up. So at that point, we needed to find some race fuel. Normally I run BP 110 leaded fuel in this, and that's what it was jetted for. Tradition dictates that most power sports shops close on Mondays. They say they are, they ride Sunday and rest on Monday, but the two local power sports shops that I know sell BP were both closed. So we did find a Sunoco gas station that sold race fuel by the can outside. So I went through what they had, and the only thing that I could find was close was either go with like a 104 or 106 unleaded fuel, or a what was it, Sunoco? I got the can over there, I'm reading it. Sunoco Maximal 116 octane leaded fuel. I made a judgment call, and that's what I used. Apparently the fuel's a little more dense, so when we got it on the dyno, we had to do some rejetting. So it wasn't the best parameters, but I was under a timeline because at this point, the reason why I pushed these buggies out of the trailer is to get the trailer empty so I can start loading inventory and getting it ready to take up to Tennessee to move it up there. So I wanted to get my enclosed trailer empty, and I wanted to take the buggies up to Tennessee, in which case, I figured this was my window of opportunity to get this to the dyno. So it wasn't the best parameters. I wasn't completely prepared, but it was an opportunity at least for us to get a somewhat roundabout ballpark on there. So we did have a little bit of hard time. The first pass, she started putter sputting and whatnot, and then we did some rejets through the course of the video. I did have an original intro video. I could tell when I was doing it, I didn't like the way it turned out. I felt, because we were in a rush, because I had an appointment later that afternoon, that I just didn't get a chance to explain all the details to this. So as far as what's in the motor, this is basically an Mbx spec motor. And what I say that is by the rules. It's a 61 millimeter piston with we have a no stroker rule, so it's a stock stroke crank, 61 millimeter bore. The head, I use Naraku heads personally. That's why I use on most of my race builds. So the head's a Naraku 59 millimeter head. It's actually 58.5, but they list it as a 59 millimeter head. In my opinion, it's just the best fit and finish on any of the heads that I've seen from, NCY, SSBG, and I'm going strictly on fit and finish and how they look, Tata and all of them. This is the best looking head I've seen. The smaller, my theory is the smaller dome and using a smaller head on a bigger cylinder. The dome is a little bit smaller to squeeze a little bit extra compression out of it. I don't like to, I've never decked a head. I don't like to deck heads. To me, that shortens the distance between the crank and the cam, and it's gonna screw with the chain tension and whatnot, and may even kind of get the degree of the cam off. But I do use, with the base gaskets, I do use thinner and thicker base gaskets to shim it to get the piston as, the utmost possible safe distance, up in the holes I can. So the head itself has been poured and polished. I poured it and polished the head. We're running one of our exhaust pipes on it, Mikuni carburetor, 26 millimeter, VM 26606. Originally showed up with the 110. What ran good for me at the last race was, with the VP 110 was, when I opened it up, I think I had a 320 jet in it. So we ended up jetting it way down. Now, during the video, you'll hear Matt talk about the density of the fuel. It probably has a lot to do with it. So we ended up jetting way down. I think we went as low as a 280 and ended up on the final passes. The best passes that I made was with a 290. So that's just the background of where we were at. So it wasn't the optimum. It wasn't a completely fresh motor. I didn't have the right fuel, or the fuel, I wasn't under the same parameters that I normally operate under. But by the end of the video, or by the end of the day, we were happy with what we got, and it did okay. I mean, we could have sat there and tweaked it. I didn't really have the time, because like I said, I had a meeting later that afternoon that I had to make, which I ended up being a little late for, but all's good. So, just want to set that up. We're going to take you over to Sarmiento Motorsports right now. It might be a lot of, talk. Basically, this is the first time I've seen someone take one of these buggies and put on the dyno, so we let the camera run and stuff. So, it's just a bunch of, us going back and forth to talk and taking a couple passes. And so I'm just going to let that run just for the sake of the fact that, like I said, I've never seen anybody stick one of these on a dyno. And just keep in mind, and I think we talked about some of this during the course of the day yesterday, but real numbers and whatnot. So what we're doing and what we're doing with the dyno is we're getting readings at the wheel. So that means from the crankshaft down to the rear axle to where the wheels hit the ground, and that's the horsepower that actually, in my mind, that counts, because that's the actual horsepower that you're getting. For the sake of example, a brand new stock YFZ Yamaha 450. Yamaha claims a 42 horsepower output. When you take that brand new machine from the dealership and you park it on his dyno, and I'm just giving you facts because Matt has done it. When you park this on the dyno and take some passes on it, you're only getting between 32 to 33 horsepower at the wheels, okay? Now, question remains, because I don't know, how are they dynoing? They're probably dynoing it at the crankshaft, definitely not at the wheels. So, that being said, there's a lot of loss. So basically, by the time it translates from the crankshaft to the ground, is that how much, that's how much horsepower you're losing, is roughly 10 on a 450cc race quad, okay, stock. Now, the claimed horsepower from most of the manufacturers are anywhere between 8 and 8.5 on a Gy6 150cc that's in the buggy, so it's choked down. Now, I'm assuming that's done the same way at the crankshaft. So by the time it translates down into wheels, what do you actually get? 5, 6 horsepower, maybe if you're lucky, 4. So that's what we're going to find out. So just keep in mind, because some of you may think that these numbers are super high, and some of you may might be disappointed by the outcome. I'm going to tell you right now, it's ballpark right where I thought, within a half horsepower of what I thought these motors might turn over, but was always hesitant to say. So as far as, just keep that in mind as we're doing this, that we're not taking crankshaft horsepower, we're taking wheels to the ground horsepower. All right, so the numbers might be a little lower than some of you expect. I don't know. So I'm going to play you all the stuff from what we took, all the footage that we played yesterday, and then we'll talk about what we found. jet.
Oh, definitely needs a new jet. She was hurting. She was really hurting. My crap. Of course, she wants to play on this screen over here. I'm gonna get Ben to come on by, do all the fun stuff. Of course, now open go. Hey, never mind. You actually made some unjetted, made decent power, made 10.9, and she's really surging there. And
Right.
we had a top speed of 35-ish miles per hour. So let's see what the big torque numbers say. 6 torque.
6 pounds of torque.
6 pounds. Actually,
Wow.
that's a pretty good curve. Actually, let's go back to the engine speed. That's in miles per hour. This is, you can see where it was steady, and then that's when you got on the gas.
Right.
So we're just finding that sweet spot. Hold on a second. So I was recalculating now. I was calculating by drum power, but now we're calculating by engine power. So a whopping 4.4 horse and 2.92 foot-pounds of torque. Right. So now they reconfigured it appropriately.
Gotcha.
So that's about right. She sounded like she was hurt. Alright, drums are off. I would say on this one, let's get this thing rolling. Alright. And then I'll get it rolling. Just take a seat right here. How's that? Easy enough. There.
Really?
Well, we had a little bit of like the ignition acting up, but yeah, just from that literally jumped it. There we go. That literally jumped it to 10 horse. Literally. So, but we definitely need to. It's still too rich.
Too rich.
So, your pilot jet.
Pilot jet. I'm as lean as I can get.
Okay.
We can adjust the screw a little bit.
So we'll bring the main jet down some more, maybe like to 280.
Okay.
But yeah, that jumped to 10.46 horse.
Versus what was the first one?
4. We just was breaking up really bad. So probably if that was a healthy run, I bet you probably would have showed 8.
Right.
But that was pretty steady. But torque, let's see what the torque shows. Yeah, it's an increase in torque because you double torque literally. So,
No good.
Seriously, jetting makes all the difference. I mean, you're running 110, so yeah, there's so much fuel density in such a small motor, we got to get it right. So it makes a big difference. So maybe do a 290 or 280. I mean, getting back on like around 6 or 7 miles per hour. If that makes sense.
So you want me to start it? Yeah, just tell me.
Once we get going, I'm going to show you on the gauges, and you can actually see the speed. So on this last one, once we're about maybe 6-7 miles per hour, 7's about there. I want you then to hit the gas all the way. Okay.
Hold it down until it sounds like she ain't gonna go.
It shows you the speed here, so this thing actually picks up better on speed. I think it shows like we'll see maybe hopefully we get to like 36 or 7 miles per hour. Okay. So the brakes are off.
many horsepower did you get on that one?
So it showed 10.32 horse. So we went down a little bit. The last pass was 10.46. However, you didn't rev it out all the way as well. So then we got to see the progressive as the horsepower goes down, all that stuff like the way it's supposed to. But we had a big dip here. It shouldn't have really on that big dip. It should have been just fine. So I'm not sure we had a little ignition spike or something. But there was a big surge there.
What RPM range you getting your peaks at?
So the best, and actually the front of this, when you got on it good, the front of this was really good. So which is, it did its job right. We just need to fix that mid a little bit. But this is interesting. So I'd say the peak was about, or at least in miles. This makes it's more comprehensive in miles per hour right now because when we switch it to the other setup, then it looks really messed up. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even look like a good graph. So if we're basing by miles per hour, this shows it's best at 26 miles per hour. The time before was at 22. Okay. So I'll show you here, and then it all makes sense. So we'll get this over to you. That way you can see it on this screen. Go back to the graph screen. So we saw a good. Yeah, I mean, it definitely needed to be leaned out. It was a little happier. I would like to see if we go back, let's go up maybe a jet and see if we can't take a little bit of the pilot down. So,
see if we can lean that pilot a little.
Right. Maybe how many turns you have on it?
I don't know. I'll have to get a screwdriver from you and I'll find a sweet spot and see where it goes best.
Let's go up one jet size.
Okay.
Let's go up one jet size on the main. Right, I mean, but that was screaming the RPM, so but that's fine. Now we know what it makes. We need to see that consistently now. That way we have a good idea.
So right there, that dip is basically when it got lean in the middle.
No, it shouldn't have did anything. It was, look, they're both the same. So where this dip is at 24 miles per hour, they're exactly the same.
Okay.
The AFRs are the same. So nothing should have happened. I'm not sure what happened there, what it into, or were you, now again, this is the operator input, were you being smoother on the throttle when you're increasing throttle versus going wide open?
I just stopped it.
Right, on your last pass, you stopped it, right?
Yeah.
On the one before, were you smoothly increasing RPM?
I don't know. I think I just that. Yeah, I think I just pushed it down.
Right, which is fine, right? You know, all the above. You know, so also too, you know, getting this out of the trailer and all that stuff, and blowing the cobwebs out of it. So, I mean, technically, nothing here should be changing. So, this could be an air velocity issue or something like that. The air tumbled a little bit there. So the dyno tells you a lot of stuff, but by making them changes, and the first pass, literally the power started here, like way up, like when you're way higher. Look at how much lower of miles per hour you are, and look how much more front power you have. It all makes more difference. You have more usable power in the front, then you got a little dip. So if we could get rid of that dip, that last pass wasn't bad, and we just need to richen it up a little bit to carry itself better. And you can see that's when it starts to labor once we pass like 34 miles per hour, and then we're starting to lose horsepower.
What was the torque number?
6.36. So we went down a little bit on torque. So, but again, all the above, you know.
Right.
But again, this is that last pass was the best full pass. So this is all a huge learning curve. Right? You've never hit the red limiter on this thing, have you?
No, I'm not. Did I sound like I hit it then?
Well, you know it. Yeah, it won't give you no more.
I mean, at 12 you said quit. I quit at 12.
12 was good. Well, you said it revs to 12, so I don't know. I don't want you to float a valve either or something like that.
I don't care.
Oh, well then. Don't care. Just drop a valve, whatever.
I got more valves.
Oh, well, then.
Got more heads.
Okay, whatever. No big deal.
All right,
good.
So
Awesome.
let's do this. I'm gonna start it up. You got a small screwdriver? And I'll see.
Well, change your jet.
Well, let me turn the pilot
tweak, right.
Yeah.
So, I'll show you the easier way on that. The gauges. Smack that thing a few times, you know? So, we could go down a little bit. We're good on the AFR. We're right at 13. A little more. We're staying around like 13 and a half. Did it change? That's 13 and a half. Yeah, oh, it changed. I'm reading it right now. That's good right there. Let's try it like that. That's at 13 and a half. Alright, it was reading like at 12.9. I'll rate 12.9, 13. Now let's let it get a little good breath of air there. And now we're reading a little over 13 and a half. So mean, that's still within a safe relative engine, you know.
And I'll put the 290 back in it.
And flash. Yeah. Yeah, let's try that and see if we can't get you a little more snappiness and all that good jazz. So cool. No, we'll take the brakes off. Brakes are off.
Turn the fuel on.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. That's easy to see.
Yeah.
Messed up reading or something. I don't know what the hell happened, but I know this does not have 61.4 torque.
Come on, man. Give me a little faith.
But the horsepower seems right, or something there is messed up. Hold on a second. The horsepower part seemed right. Let's go back to that. That definitely ran good. That ran really good. So let me see what the heck happened there. Like literally, no, that was great. I could feel that.
Right.
When you took off, that was great, and that actually made sense on the dyno too, even the dyno graph. That jumped to 11.74 horse. That last pass.
Just under 12.
Almost at 12.
Almost
hey,
12.
That thing screamed. That's probably. I bet you.
Scream.
I bet you when you got to that part where it was like free floating, that's when the torque numbers they go crazy. Because it's not like how on a 450 you're tapped, you know, and going, but that ran pretty good.
I pictured 12 in my head, so I don't think
you're almost there. No, you're right there. You're within a quarter horsepower. That's close. That's close.
And that's at the wheels. So I mean, if you're taking an inflated Chinese, hey, you got 8 horsepower.
Right. That's a lot. That is a lot. So
if you rated that the other way, then
right. Ryan, is this the motor you use for racing, or is this like more like just the normal? Like
no, this was my 20 and 21 motor.
Okay, is this like the normal, like most like customers are they're asking for, like kind of motor deal, or
yeah?
Okay, so that's pretty good. So if stock,
like I said, I have to keep their compression down a little bit, otherwise they're gonna have to go buy. You know, first question I ask is
race gas, right?
How do you feel about buying race gas on it? You know, if they don't, then you know, we try and keep it around 190, 200 pounds.
Right, and I go this is the exact same thing, but really this setting here, but it makes sense. We add a lot more air, so on the deceleration side, you know, it got crazier on the poppier side. But that weird spot where we had, we'll take this back over to you, so that way I can explain it to you a little better. Increase that. So on the last run, so 3 is the last run, the green.
Right.
So the second run, where it was still a little short, you were on the gas all the way to let it really rev out. Which is fine and all that good stuff. You know, that was pretty, you know, sharp. The green was better. Then we had that dip.
Right.
Makes sense. Right before the dip, we took some air out, or you add it, you know, give more air.
Right.
Which made sense on the mixture. And then I filled all that void there because that was just way too rich. All that's too rich. Now we're getting here. It still gets rich again, but
towards the end.
Well, realistically, like from 25 miles per hour, 26, and it just likes to stay really, really rich.
And what was the mile per hour on that?
That was about 46 when you let off, but that was like revving a little past 12 grand. So I don't know what your valve springs were rated for.
12 grand.
It was a little over that, so I didn't know if that flowed a valve or not. I mean, but it was a little over, so.
Right.
But that got there much better. So that's fantastic. So that's a great looking route.
And when we're racing, it's never revving that high. There's not a motor on the track will ever come close to revving that high.
Right. To produce that well, but that is a better power production. To turn those rollers.
That's usable power right there.
That's even better.
Yep.
That's a huge difference.
Especially so on the red chart, it hopped up quicker.
Huge.
Yeah.
Right from the start. I mean, as soon as you hit it, I felt that power just take off. That was great. Much better, and I was actually running a lot healthier. So I mean, carb work, all that stuff, everything. You know, it all makes all the difference. So yeah.
And I think that's 11.74 at the wheels. And if they're getting 8 at the crank,
Yeah,
that's pretty huge.
That's huge. Right, so I'm pretty sure at the wheels on a stock motor, it has to be like 6 or under. Because everybody was, it's this much power, and it's never that. Not even close. That's all lies. You know?
That's it. So
I mean, it is at the crank, but when you get it through the chain, you know, all that stuff, you spread it to the wheels with a dirt bike or ATV, they never make what they say. I mean, cars, it's all the same junk.
So 61 millimeter with a quarter polished head.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Different intake, velocity stacking filter, Mikuni carb in my pipe.
Yep. Race gas.
And race gas. Oh, gotta go race gas.
Right, with that, with the compression. Right, with the compression, and not grenade the engine.
Yeah. If you want it to last more than an hour. And literally.
The 20-minute motor.
It literally, I've seen it burn up in an hour.
Oh yeah. If it's too, doesn't have the octane. That's right.
Yep. That's
it runs hot. Runs real hot.
So no, that's respectable. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna split hairs with that one because, like I said, I was open 12.
That's close. I mean, temperature wise, we're.
And then since I've been coming here with the quads and everything, there's a big difference between.
Oh yeah.
I've learned there's a big difference between, at the wheels and otherwise.
And temperature in here is 80 degrees. We're 50% humidity, so it's still kind of a humid day.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd rather take more of the heat. I wish it was like 85 and like 30% humidity, and that actually could go up too. I mean, the drier air, but it is what it is. It's the day we have today, and it is what it is. So every day is a little different. So on the right day, it could actually also show 12.
That's legit.
I mean, a quarter horsepower is a quarter horsepower. I'll take that. So.
No, yeah. She runs better than when I brought it.
No, it was having a hard time getting up the ramp.
Yeah, no.
It's kind of rough, but that makes all the difference. Yeah, tuning, and especially reading all the tuning materials, all that stuff, it makes all the difference, you know?
That's legit, so.
Yeah, I mean, over 40 miles per hour, that's cranking. That's going pretty fast on this. You might want to put some airbags on this thing soon. No.
Well, the cage, man.
Yeah, the cage, yeah.
Yep, so the next curiosity is, and I don't know if we're going to end up doing it here or in Tennessee, but you got to get that 232 in this thing and see what that does.
A 232, all right.
232.
You never know.
67 millimeter piston, 4-valve head.
Oh wow, yeah. You could probably see definitely like.
They claim. Now that's their claim. Should, built right, should produce 27 horsepower. So.
Yeah, I'll say that should be in the 20s. I mean, easily, because I mean, like I said, on the most I've seen here on this dyno on an ATV for the hybrid, like a Raptor hybrid, a 150 motor, and keeping it 150 is 28 horse. So, but also too, the horsepower stock is like maybe a little bit above this kind of barely, but not by much.
Now let me ask you this, because I never put any thought into it. Does CVT affect any numbers on that?
CVT can. That's what I was saying. That's why the torque numbers look a little weird. Probably we hung there at like free revving for too long, but that's respectable. I mean, no, you definitely.
Yeah, it definitely takes almost 2,000 just to get the wheels going.
Right. CVT does make all the difference too. So now you can then play the torque numbers on stuff. So it's all in how you want to do, or if you want more miles per hour, all that stuff, sprockets, all that stuff. So,
right.
But that was pretty respectable. I mean,
so what was our last torque number? I didn't even ask.
Well, because we free read for so long, that the torque numbers didn't come out right. So we could do another pass though and make it like a little shorter,
right? And
then just be off the gas, and then that way I could stop it. Or actually, you know what? I don't know why didn't you use the remote trigger. I'm so used to it. I have the trigger actually stand from away and do it. It's a lot easier.
Oh, you can turn it off when you want to.
Yeah, you can start it and stop it when you want. I always forget about that. So, but I usually do it from the left. I'm so used to it.
But the torque number before that was?
It went down on torque.
What was the best torque number?
The best torque number was the second pass. Right. So that's miscalculated. There's no way it had 61.4, 41 torque. Not even close.
Yeah.
The only thing I ever seen show 61 or 70 foot-pounds of torque is something like a 700 or 1,000 cc motor. And I know that for a fact. And I'm talking about like the torque is more than the horsepower.
Gotcha.
But that's usually like on a brute force.
So probably
Can-Am
between
or something.
6 and
I'd
7.
say we're probably like right at 7 because that was a big horsepower increase. I mean, that's a 1.5. Yeah, like literally almost a 1.5 horsepower increase just from that last jetting. That was more of the sweet spot. So we can do it. We can definitely do another. In fact, going with this zoom out. No. Turn that out.
Some
was wondering if I wouldn't be better off putting you in here because you understand where you want to be and the rev and all that.
I mean, I can if you want.
Yeah, give it a
I
try.
did actually.
Because I don't know what you're looking for. I'm looking for your fingers going up and down and stuff like that. So,
well, I don't know. I've never ran a buggy.
now give it a shot.
Sure.
Drive a car.
I mean, hey, what's worse that can happen, you know? The valve fly out of it.
Hey, go ahead.
Go ahead. Those are famous last words I've heard.
Blow it up.
Blow it up, he said. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, the trickiest part might be turning it.
I might need you for that. Hey, look, there's a wrench here.
Oh, damn.
As long as it doesn't go into the dyno, we're good.
Yeah, it was a little scary the first 2 passes. I'm like, I feel it moving.
I feel the wheels turning, but it's not going anywhere. Yeah, it's always the cleanse. All right, let's see. Give it a try. My first time being in a buggy. Okay.
Just gotta put these
But I think the CVT and the dyno, they don't like each other very well. That showed like 50 foot-pounds of torque. No way, not even close. But so the way I stabbed the throttle, I mean, it felt just right. But that showed 11.84. I bet you she's almost there in the zone. A couple little more tweaks and
She's 12.
This is a 12 horsepower motor all day at the tires, and that was a great, actually a lot smoother of a run. So let's get rid of some of this stuff. It makes more sense.
The torque come out wanky on that
one?
one?
100%.
Okay.
Well, because all two are revving it really high, but I revved it, so I can tell this motor doesn't give any more after 48 horsepower or 48 miles per hour. So using all the things there, cause I'm not feeling the rev cut out. It's still running,
right?
But it has no more. It was
She just runs out.
It was a little past 12,000 RPM. So really,
probably floating.
So really, we're at the end of the CVT variator as well, too.
Oh,
so there's no more.
Good point.
So when the CVT variator does that weird stuff, it definitely, the drums do not like that. The readings are weird. So you actually need to stop before that. So
the motor's out revving the CVT.
It's out revving it, correct. So if we stop before that, maybe like at 40 to 44 miles per hour, we'll see then the torque numbers correctly. But let's get rid of some of this stuff. I thought I'd have a laptop in a buggy. Learning new stuff every day.
See that?
Right, but that was, I went straight to just stabbing the throttle, and it was happy, it was healthy, and that was actually even a little bit better on the way up.
Right.
and held the power pretty good. So no, she's quick. I mean, not too bad. I didn't hear it backfiring too much, letting off. So she was happier.
Definition of fun right there.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else could be done to see. Man, that's right there. Any other tricks there to?
I mean, whatever I've got going on there, that was what.
You're happy with that?
That was all self-taught without any.
No, that's for
any help from a dyno.
Yeah.
So
that's not bad at all.
That was all trial and error.
The only thing I could suggest is maybe even go a hair leaner.
Right.
But you went to the.
We're on a 290 on it. And
I wonder. And you said you can't change the pilot. That's the only thing.
Yeah, it's as late as it gets.
The pilot jet would be. We could go like to a 12 or something like that. They don't make it. They don't make a leaner pilot jet.
15.
What is it? There we go.
All right, it's going out.
Alright, so get the system up. Where you going? You going leaner or
Leaner?
Okay, so a little leaner. A little bit more. Try it right there. Alright, 13.8.
Good.
Let's try it. What do we got to lose? You remember how many screws you went, right?
Huh?
You remember how many turns you went?
I would have if you weren't telling me.
Alright, here.
Taking your word for it.
You got me on that. There. Alright, everybody's out of the way? Clear? But now we got a good torque reading. I stopped before the maximum, so we're seeing 7 foot-pounds of torque. So that was 11.29 horse and 7.06 foot-pounds of torque. So it had a little hiccup. So it had a little too much air. I felt that too. So yeah, a little too much air. So that was a little too much throttle hit. So we'll start it back up, and we were about 13.5 amp hours sitting there. We'll wrench it back up, ready? Ready? Take it out of the way. She left it where it was.
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. Okay. Yep. I'll come see you tomorrow. All right. Thank you. Is that better or worse?
No, it's worse actually. We went down to horsepower and torque, so we could also be getting some heat to it. Actually, the ray gun's right there. See, we're heat-wise because we didn't let it have a good cool off either.
The header pipe or the?
We can do it at the head itself.
At the head?
Yeah. What's our head reading at?
I don't know. Head valve cover. 192.7.
That's hot for an air-cooled motor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you start to see that, they do not let you run good. Which makes sense. It was. Right. So then obviously combustion chamber and all that stuff. So she definitely needs to cool down better. But still not bad. The AFRs was about where it was before. It could probably go a little richer again.
Right.
But now it'd be worth driving it. But a good cool down though. So if you're happy with that though.
Yeah.
Or else you want to let it cool down a little bit.
Happily surprised.
And then double check it. That's fine.
Nah, I gotta get going because my
Right. So the best we saw was 11.8. But now we're seeing cutting it at before the top end, like I was saying, with the variators. And now we're seeing actually good torque numbers. So the pass before we saw 11.29 and 7 foot-pounds torque. So probably the one before that, the 11.84. That was probably more like 7.5 foot-pounds of torque.
Gotcha.
So that'd be cool to see 12 and 8.
Yeah.
Something 12 and 8. So that's a good base, you know.
And that's not a fresh motor, so I mean that motor's got miles on it, so
There you go.
it's not too bad.
No. If that's what, how many seasons motor?
2.
It's got 2 seasons on it.
Mm-hmm.
And all you do is just give it a little freshen up, or now, or just.
No, I just threw clutches in it.
well, clutches help. They help. That way it's not slipping and stuff. So that's always good. Holy smoke.
Yeah.
So,
No, it sat on the floor for 2 years. I tripped over for 2 years while I was on my way. Needed it. Just threw it in the buggy and went out there and whooped it.
Okay. Yeah, give it some whooping. So, all right. So that now we have good baseline data. So, but really, I mean, so 48 miles per hour. That's cranking. Actually, I didn't think.
Yeah, and I don't think on flat ground with me in it, she's doing that. I mean, not on the racetrack, but
Well, not with knobbies. There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, on dirt because you have too much resistance. Now maybe on the street with the right tires.
enough
That's
space.
possible.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, you got there pretty fast actually. That wasn't slow at all.
Mhm.
It got rolling. Once it got rolling, it was pumping. So, and you could feel it. Like you could tell when the variators, had engaged and expanded, did all the things. You could feel the motor got like to 1 RPM. Then the motor really took off.
Right.
So I'd say your clutching and all that stuff is really on point. Just getting all those transitions. A little more power would make that transition smoother. So who knows?
No,
But that's not bad for a scooter.
I'm
right?
happy. It was where
Yeah.
I thought it might be, but I
No,
never tell anybody when they ask me because I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a dyno, so I'm not gonna make up numbers.
So maybe on the
Now I can make up numbers.
well, maybe a good better maybe, and that's totally up to you. You got a motor you send out to a customer, one on pump gas. What does a pump gas motor make? Now see that without hitting on the dyno,
Yeah.
and that way you say, hey, this is what we need to run.
Oh, now that
pump
we
gas.
know this works, yeah, I mean it's limitless.
Yeah, no, that's not bad at all. All right, cool. You're
Pretty
good
good.
with that. I'm happy with that too. That was close. That was more than I thought.
Awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Happy camper.
There you go. We'll get you unstrapped and get you rolling.
All right, so we got some results and learned a lot actually. I was just reviewing all the video. At the time, it's hard for me to take it all in while it's going on. But the final result was 11.84. I forget what he said on the torque. I want to say he said got to around, I think we got between somewhere around 7-ish. I think that's pretty impressive. I was thinking 12 in my head the whole time. I don't see 12 being very unobtainable. You're talking about an old motor. I mean, as far as you have to understand, we're not just really trail riding. We're taking these motors on a weekend when we're racing, and we're seeing what we got at practice. Of course, there's a little bit of cat and mouse on the track at practice. Everybody wants to kind of gauge what they're doing against the other person or how fast they are compared to everybody else. But then when it comes race time, I mean, we're we're really beating the hell out of these motors. So, especially down here in Florida, because most of the tracks consist of sand and softer stuff. So that probably takes a lot out of it. Also, it's hot, it's humid. You know, our racing conditions, because we're racing through the summer. That being said, fresh motor with the right fuel and jetted, the motor really never ran that bad at the track. You can tell when we're pulling up the ramps, it's kind of missing and backfiring. I believe that is largely to the fuel change. Like I said, I'm running VP 110 all the time, and then I switched up the cocktail to the Sunoco stuff. So that kind of, I was running a 320 jet with the BP, and we knocked it down to a 290 with the Sunoco. So, like I said, it wasn't the most, the greatest of conditions. You know, I could have been a little more prepared. I would have liked to have had a fresh motor in the buggy. I think we could have got some really impressive results. But that being said, you know, tickling 12 horsepower at the wheel on one of these things for what it was meant to do, they are scooter motors for, you know, no matter how you cut it. I think it's pretty impressive in the fact that, you know, they're going from a 200-pound vehicle with one wheel, usually has one person in it, and most of us are running passengers, at least when we're playing. That's why there's 2 seats in there. So you're taking a close to 550-pound vehicle with a live axle and 2 big fat tires on the back, and asking these little motors to do all that. It's pretty cool. The other thing I learned that I really didn't think about through the course of it, because when you're on the ground and you're racing or you're riding, there's a lot more resistance than you're going to find on the dyno. I never really gave it any thought about the CVT or the motor out revving the CVT. If you notice and you listen to some of the video, we were getting like wacky torque numbers, you know, 52 foot-pounds of torque, 61 foot-pounds of torque, and a lot of that was due, and after the fact, you know, hindsight's 2020, is that the motor was out revving the CVT. So that means we'd reached the end of the travel in the pulley, and the CVT couldn't really do anymore, and I guess it was wreaking a little bit of havoc on the torque numbers on the dyno. So usually you don't run into that kind of problem when you're actually riding, but you know, having the drums spin free and whatnot, and there's no way when I'm in the buggy, even if I'm going down the road with the knobbies on there, that I'm getting anywhere close to 48 mile per hour, which was you're capable of doing on the dyno. So just to take those parameters and throw them in the mix. So all in all, totally happy. Definitely have no problem telling people that we can get 12 horsepower out of these easy, because compared to what you can do with strokers and stuff like that, we're not using stroker cranks in these motors in MBX. So I mean, putting stroke crank in there, going up to 61 or 63 millimeter from 61, there are things that can be done. One thing that you keep in mind when you're building a motor, and the reason why we limit it to the 61 millimeter on the MBX motors and the no stroke, is A, some motors don't have a stroker crank available on the market for them. If you're running a motor with internal reverse, you're not going to find one. And B, I just think the 61 millimeter kits, with the amount of bore or the hole that you have to cut for a 63 millimeters cylinder, I just think they tend to be more reliable, you know, keeping them at 61. And I'm sure people don't, you know, if you're thinking about racing or whatnot, or at least my thoughts for the guys racing is I didn't want guys to have to rebuild their motor after every race, you know. So that being said, I think it was kind of educational. I was thrilled to death to do it. If you need parts, go to GotBuggies.com. If you like what you see, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I'll try to answer them for you. All right, guys, JD's out.